So are you able to see this the slide?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. We'll keep on adding the new people as they come in. And let me share something about the CEO Talks. So CEO Talks stands for Collaboration, Excellence, and Opportunities. These got unlocked during the lockdown. We started on the 25th of March, the day the lockdown started. Average participation has been around 40 people on Zoom and around 250 plus on Facebook Live on the days we go live. And today we are live on Facebook. All right. And average readability on the recording on YouTube has been around 60 plus. So far, around 5,000 plus participants have participated, both on Zoom and on the other online platforms. We've had people talk on various subjects. So today, incidentally, is the 60th talk, 60. So we did not even realize that it's 60 days since the lockdown started. All right. Some of the topics on which we've had conversations are branding, sales, marketing. Some business coaches have come here. We've had conversations on industrial engineering, business automation, business opportunities, information technology, compliance, both from the accounting side and from the legal side. And then investment experts have been there. And then we've been having these industry connect. I don't know why I'm not able to see these. Some of the images are missing. All right. So on every Saturday, we have this conversation, which we call as the Industry Connect, wherein we've been inviting various stakeholder, a panel from different stakeholders in the industry, and we have a discussion on that. So today, the discussion topic is empowering women in rural India. And we've got an awesome panel, and that is what we will be getting into immediately after this introduction. And on Sundays, we've been organizing what we call as Chapal, as lazy Sundays. This day, we don't have any specific agenda. Just the business owners, they come, they meet up among themselves, and they share about what they've been doing. And this is how we empower or facilitate deepening of the relationships. So we believe that deep relationships can go a long way. All right. Let me just share this again. Maybe there's some issue. All right. So that is what we've been doing, and this has been a pretty encouraging thing for us. Sorry for this inconvenience. It's still not coming. So there is some maybe some issue at the presentation level. So the people behind the CEO Talks is eGrowth. We are a platform which we the world's first BAD ecosystem. BAD stands for Business Advisory and Business Development. Our mission is to empower and enable businesses. We started in 2014, and right now we have an active community of around 28,000 business owners. So between 2017 and 2019, we did a lot of road trips across the country, so which were in Punjab, West India, in Uttar Pradesh. There were all these images, and somehow they are not coming. All right. And how is it that you can associate with eGrowth? The first thing is that we've got a portal called egrowth.org. You can create your profile on the portal. You can create your business portrait. You can post blogs and articles, and you can do a lot more engaging with other business owners. We are present on social media. Our social media handle is egrowth.org. So we're present on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, as well as on WhatsApp. We run around 50 WhatsApp groups right now. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Here you will be able to see all the previous CEO talks and even videos from various events and engagements that we've done in the past. Right now, there are around 300 videos which are already live, right? And even this video which we are creating today, this will also go live there. We do a lot of active engagement with our members by way of workshops and trainings, networking events, introduction to e-growth, and CEO talks, which happen every day. We also organize what we call as the inner circle. Inner circle is a structured platform which meets every Friday, and there is a team which manages this. The method here is distributed consulting, which has peer-to-peer conversations. So we started off as an offline platform, and with the lockdown, we went online and we took it pan India. So right now we have members from across India. A number of the members are live right now on the talk as well. The highlight of this meeting is that we have what we call as a create session. In this, a business owner, he comes upfront and shares the challenges in his business, and those get resolved. Or we look at various solutions for that by way of a peer-to-peer conversation. Create itself is an acronym for challenges, resolutions, empathy, analysis, trust, empower, and enable. We also build a lot of connect with the industry by way of interacting with chambers, associations, and other industry bodies. All right. We invite you to subscribe to eGrowth. So you can start with a registration wherein you get a verified profile on the portal, and you can start publishing blogs and articles. You can also participate in the eGrowth networking events. You also have the choice to participate as an annual subscriber or as an enterprise subscriber, wherein the first degree contacts open up to you. You can have a detailed business portrait, and you can start hosting networking meetings. The next choice is you can go in for an inner circle subscription, wherein you can participate in the inner circle meetings. The second degree contacts also open up to you, and the industry contacts also open up to you. All right. When you subscribe to eGrowth, there are a number of deals which you get, like the one I'm showing you right now, wherein you get free web hosting for 24 months. You also get a free digital business card. There is 10% discount on sanitization services from one of our members. Then you can also get deals on purchase of iPhone, on your car servicing, and things like those. You can consider to subscribe as a registered user, wherein you get access to a curated network, privileged access, online as well as offline engagement. There is only a one-time fee of 8,000 plus GST. All right. Then you can also go in for an inner circle or the annual subscription, wherein you get access to the influencer network, premium access, and power networking. You have option to access the inner circle, wherein you can participate with various industry bodies as part of the delegations which go to those industry bodies or which come from the industry bodies. We also organize buyer seller meetings. The subscription here is 18,000 rupees for an annual subscription and 30,000 rupees for the inner circle. All right. Right now, there is a special offer for you, wherein you get benefits worth 1,20,000 rupees, and you don't pay 30,000 rupees. Instead, you pay only 15,000 rupees plus GST if you are interested in joining the inner circle. And we're also organizing an event called Leverage, not an event, a workshop, which is called as Leverage in COVID Times. Sorry for the dates. There is the third session is starting next week, which will happen on 3 days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. This is priced at only 999 rupees. If you would like to know more about it, you can get in touch with us. You can speak to Mr. Sanjeev Ahuja, who's the president of Inner Circle. I believe he's there on the call right now as well. You can reach out to him at 98101 62028, or you can speak to Ronika Bhatia, who's our community manager. She's available on 89209 26565, or you may write to me at atul@egrowth.org. Right? So this was a little bit about the CEO talks. Let's get on with the conversation, and a very, very, very warm welcome to all of you. We've got a very interesting panel today. Mrs. Rama Devi, who's from ALEAP, Hyderabad, she's just trying to connect. I'll get in touch with her as soon as the conversation starts. So today we've got Mr. Satya Gupta, who is a retired bureaucrat, and after that he's been running a public-private partnership with BSNL, wherein they are creating hotspots across rural India and through that they are empowering the women folks in rural India. So they run an enterprise called mm, uh, uh, DigiGaon, wherein they are talking about Uddhami Bahu. So, Mr. Satya Gupta, he is the mentor for this organization. We also have Prerna Singh with us. She is the CEO of DigiGaon Foundation, and she also runs another foundation which is called as Promising Indians. All right. We have with us Pavni Khandelwal, who's probably the oldest among us. Okay, she has been there for less than 30 years on this planet, and she runs an enterprise called Anwa, which is Atmanirbhar Women Association, and which I think is an awesome job. She belongs to Mathura. She's traveled across the globe. She had the opportunity to settle somewhere else. Yet she came back to Mathura and she thought that she wanted to contribute to women folk up country, and that is that's really awesome. All right, thanks Pavni for being there on the panel today. Then we have with us Mrs. Neeta. And so I'm just going by the sequence in which I see your photograph. So there is no specific purpose why I'm taking these names like this. Okay. Then we have Mrs. Neeta Aneja with us. She is a successful business owner. She's the president of an enterprise called Trends International, which is into export of hard and soft furnishings from India, and she is also associated with an organization called Federation of Buying Agents, wherein she is the head of the mentorship program which they've just started. She'll be speaking more about it in a while we start this conversation. And we also have Mrs. Riddhi Doshi Patel with us. She's from Mumbai. She's a TEDx speaker, and I was going through her profile. Her profile runs into reams of paper, so I will not talk so much about it. She is an HR professional, and she's a child psychologist. During this lockdown, she has been, I would say, awfully, she has been pleasantly busy because she has been helping families to reconnect. She has been helping families to really rejuvenate. These have been tough times, okay, both emotionally, physically, as well as money wise. And she's been one of those people who has not slept on nights because she's counseling somebody. She's dealing with issues which family issues, okay, wherein a man has gone volatile. I would say volatile. Man has gone really bonkers, I would say. All right. So that's Riddhi for you. Riddhi, thanks for being on the panel today. All right. So while I'll just check upon Mrs. Rima, is she there? Rama, sorry, not Rima. Rama, she's from A-Leap, which is from Hyderabad. There is somebody from A-Leap who's just joined in. Nikhil, I think, right? Nikhil?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Nikhil, would
Sorry.
you know if Rama ma'am is on or not?
I'm not sure. I'm just joining as a participant.
Okay, I know that. Fair enough. So I'll just check with
I'm
that.
sorry.
So in the meanwhile, I request the panelists to please introduce yourselves. I know that I have not done enough justice to you. So I invite all of you to please start. So let us start with the only man on this panel today. No, I'm the moderator, so I'm not on the panel. Okay. So Satyaji.
Thank
So
you.
let us give the privilege to the minority. Okay.
Thank you, Atulji. Good morning, everyone. It's indeed a great pleasure and honor to be a part of this August panel in the pleasant company of so many women. And you are right, I'm the actually not only man, but I'm the old man here actually. And that is right also. Of course, Atulji, I'm thankful to you for the introduction. You have already done it, but as you mentioned, I worked with the government for 25 years. Then I was with the corporate for about 10 years. And now last 5 years, I have become an entrepreneur. And one of my bread and butter, what I called the Karambhumi, is in villages, rural. And that is called Blue Town, where I'm creating public Wi-Fi hotspots in villages with the aim to connect the unconnected. It's a public-private partnership project of the government. There actually, and there I came with the idea of creating something for the women in the rural, and that is also linked Prerna to me, and she will take over that part. But I just want to explain the concept actually at this stage, or can I explain DigiGam at this stage or later? Yes.
Let us do that later.
Okay.
Let us just have a round of introduction of everybody so that we are at comfort, and then we'll go on. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
So each one of you will ask you to share what is it that you've been doing in this space. Yeah.
Okay, Atulji, I'm done with the intro.
Done. So next, I think let's have Prerna.
Hey everyone, and in this pleasant morning, I would like to welcome all of you and thank Atul for creating this forum. I am a founder of Promising Indian Society and a CEO of DigiGam Job Factory Foundation. Why we call it a job factory is because we believe that rural women needs a hand-holding. We have only 23% of women workforce in India, which is very low as compared to gender equality gap of World Economic Forum. We are ranking 142nd out of 147 countries. That's why we are here to discuss about the employment opportunities in rural India. So later on, we will be telling you how we are filling this gap and how we are working in this field. Right now, I welcome all of you and
sorry, I'm muting everybody. So please don't unmute yourself unless you are. Lokesh, can you please go on mute?
Yeah.
Hello. There seems to be a cross connection. Hello.
You wanted to unmute or mute?
Unmute. Sorry, mute. So, Prerna, you were speaking. You've gone mute. Yeah.
Am
please.
I audible now?
Yeah, please carry on. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So I was telling about our initiative of DigiGam Foundation, wherein we have started working from 2017, and we want to fill a gap of rural and urban India by actually giving employment to bahus, because बेटी बचाओ सभी कर रहे हैं, बहुओं के लिए कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है. So we have pitched in and we are creating Uddami Bahu, wherein we are creating an employment opportunity not only in the form of job giver.
Okay. Sorry, Prerna. Right now it was only about you. We'll come back to Uddami Bahu in some time. All right. And next, let us hear from Neeta, please. Neeta Aneja, you need to unmute yourself. Yeah. Neeta, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes. Hi everyone. This is Neeta Aneja, and first of all, I'd like to thank Atul for connecting us all together on a very, very relatable topic.
You've gone on mute. How come? Yeah.
Yes. This is Neeta Aneja, and I'm the president of Trends International Incorporation. This is an international sourcing company, and we work across the globe. I'm here today more as head of the mentoring division of Federation of Buying Agencies. This is an association very, very close to my heart, and I'm their governing body member. We are trying to do a lot and trying to work a lot with socially responsible associations, and I'll be talking about it more about our mentoring division and how FBA is trying to help the NGOs and carrying let's give back to the society a step further. I'm also founder of Trends Events. This is a very exclusive curated art and cultural events platform, but I'll talk more about what I'm doing later. So over to you, Atul.
Login.
Yeah.
Yeah. maybe it's a connection. So Riddhi, can we please have you introduce yourself? Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. This is Riddhi Doshi Patel. I am a child psychologist, a practicing child psychologist, and I run my own training company that's called Brinz Academy Private Limited. Along with that, I run India's first forum for women that's called Lajja. And Lajja works with a very focused segment in mind and approach towards self and skills development of women. That's all about me. Thank you. Thank you, Atul, for having me here.
Thank you. So yesterday we were having a conversation with Riddhi, and she said that she does not know anything about rural women. So I said it is about 4 words: empowerment, women, India, and rural. I said out of the 4 words, you are master in 3 of them. So you already have 75% marks. So this is how she's here on the panel today. And now let us hear from Pavni. Pavni?
Hi, everybody. I'm Pavni Khandelwal. I'm a social entrepreneur based in Mathura. I have been working in the field of women empowerment for the last 3 years. I started with a company called Atmanirbhar that is primarily into training women in the mobility sector. So we train women to ride two-wheelers. We run for women by women two-wheeler driving schools in multiple cities of Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan. And now we're expanding pan-India via franchising. While I was doing this, we also started with a non-profit organization called Atmanirbhar Women's Association, about which Atul mentioned earlier. The objective of this organization was because after I shifted to Mathura, I realized that there was no ecosystem for women entrepreneurs as such. And because I was very passionate about entrepreneurship and in general, seeing the trend in women entrepreneurship was very demotivating. So we started this organization with the agenda of building a local ecosystem that supports and promotes women entrepreneurship. And I guess that's how I'm here today.
All right, great. So let us, so in the next round, each one of you please talk about the organization that you're representing. What is it that this organization is doing in the space of empowering women? For the moment, let us forget the rural piece in case you are not working in the rural area. All right. Yeah, please. So let us start with between Prerna and Satyaj. You can decide who will speak about your organization.
Yeah, Atulji, I'll just give introduction and background, and Prerna will take over. Actually, DigiGaon Job Foundation, Job Factory Foundation, it basically is a Section 8 non-for-profit registered LLP, Limited Liability Partnership, which we created 2 years back. The basically objective of this is rural, basically social business in rural, and then we selected the women, and then we finally selected the daughter-in-law, which Prerna will explain further. So it basically is a offshoot of my main business, and that is the Blue Town, connecting the unconnected, which is creating the hotspots in rural India. So this DigiGaon Job Foundation take over after we have created it there. So the total ecosystem is taken out from the visions of our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji, where for last 4 years in his earlier government, he had the missions. First mission was Digital India, then there was a Skill India, then Make in India, and later on it was Startup India, and then he ended last year with what he called Stand Up India. So we are making use of all these 4 missions of the government, taking whatever best out of these, and then creating the jobs for the women. And it is not exactly the jobs. What we are creating is the intrapreneurship. Intrapreneurship basically is slightly different than the entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship, as you know, and this is a club of entrepreneurs, that you have to have something to take risk of actually. So it is all about taking risk. So when we talk of rural and women, they have nothing to take risk actually. They cannot take risk actually. That is why we thought, so let us help them. And I think this concept paper which Atul have given and these diagram shows it all. Actually, you can stop here, Atulji.
Yeah.
The confluence of interrelation of Mission Made program of Prime Minister. So here the Stand Up India, that is the fifth one, is really relevant. Actually, it is meant for women, in fact. The Stand Up India gives special empowerment by way of funding and skilling for the women and minority. Both are clubbed here, so women take, and that is where under Stand Up India, the women become entitled for microfinancing and these mudra kind of loan if they don't have money and if they don't want to risk their own, you can say, assets. So then the microfinancing is required. That is also where DigiGam Job Foundation makes use of that also. And they also make use of what is called Skill India. Actually, there is a NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation, under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, where a particular syllabus can be created, which we have already created, and that is called Broadband VLE, Broadband Village Level Entrepreneur. That syllabus is actually equivalent to ITI. If some women, and she may be just 10 or 10 plus 2, if she undergoes that training, and it is free of cost, and she passes, so then she will be given a certificate which is equivalent to a ITI certificate, Industrial Training Institute. Like it is almost like having a diploma in entrepreneurship, actually, officially. And that is the government scheme here, actually. So once she gets that, then she can also be funded by microfinancing. So that can become more like a collateral, though no collateral is required, neither they are collateral, but that becomes a eligibility. So with that, if these things are attained, then we make her the in charge of our hotspot. We set up a hotspot in villages. So she will then do the operation of that. She will become CEO of that hotspot in her village, and she will keep it up and running. She will sell the coupons. She will train the users also. And then she can do a lot of other value-added services over that for a commission, actually. And if she is funded by her own money or by some CSR, then she get a major chunk of the earning because she is now owning that, actually. But suppose she is not even owning, she gets a good commission and then she can increase. So that is the concept here. This concept, actually, DigiGam Job Foundation have already signed a MOU with my company, Blue Town, and now they are working on the operationalization of that. The NSDC syllabus is already approved and up and running. Training for trainers are already there in all part of the country, so they will be made use of. So with that, I think I'll like to hand it over to Prerna. And why we went to Uddami Bahu, she will explain. Actually, earlier idea was the girls or the any women. So when we started this in few villages, these girls who were empowered and who were made in charge, one of them got married and went to other village. So our project failed for that village. So then we decided the girl who comes to a village after her marriage, so that she will be permanent now in that village. So that is how the concept of Uddami Bahu came. Now over to you, Prerna.
Thank you, Satya, for briefing us about DigiGam Job Factory. What you said right now, I would like to give facts and figures related to it. As we know that India is having a very low rank vis-a-vis a world rank to participation of women in workforce. And our rural women is playing a vital role in skill, but still they are not getting the chance which they are entitled to. So for DigiGam Job Factory Foundation, we are very flexible when it comes to providing earning to the rural women, because we believe that 8 to 10,000 rupees a month will make her economic contributor to the family. And that will actually help her to say, give a say in the family decision. And you can say she will be independent and she will be contributing to the family welfare also. As we know that India is still not as modern as we think. When you go to rural villages, Pawnee would be knowing that there is a lot of parda system prevailing over here. When we go and try to convince a woman to step out of a home, there are many hurdles we face, like challenges we will come later on, as Atul rightly said. So for DigiGaon Job Foundation, our prime objective is to provide employment not as a job seeker, but as a job giver to the rural women, wherein she will be an entrepreneur related to that particular district, and she will be giving job to other women. As we are facing a global pandemic right now, so there is a huge requirement of masks. So we are coming up with an e-commerce portal next week or in a fortnight, so that we can give her earning, because now the basic source of income is gone somewhere, because the laborers who were working outside their villages, now they are returning back to their hometown. So for providing earning to the family is utmost important right now. So we have started manufacturing masks made out of khadi, local fabric, and we will be selling it to the government through GEM portal very soon, so that their earning keeps on running. Atul, I think for now
That's
it's
awesome, awesome. And we've got welcome Mrs. Rama. She's just joined us. So Rama ma'am, can I please ask you to introduce yourself and also share about what ALEAP does? I think ALEAP would be probably the oldest organization which is participating in the panel today.
Yeah.
Mrs. Rama is from Hyderabad. She is the president of an organization called ALEAP, which is Association for Lady Entrepreneurs of Andhra Pradesh. This organization celebrated 25 years of its existence a couple of years back. And this is who Mrs. Rama is. So ma'am, you'll tell something. So I've not really spoken much to her. So she'll have to say more about herself. Yeah, ma'am, please.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm president of this organization, Association Lady Entrepreneurs of India. We are pan-India, and main objective is to empower women into economic activity. We do have a lot of best practices, I can say. When you talk about empowering women in rural India, we have some models like I wanted to discuss with my fellow colleagues who have been doing wonderful work in this sphere of activity. I think we have one initiative taken by us in a very bold manner is setting up of industrial parks for women in India. That is giving them an access to finance, infrastructure, technology, and making them a cluster and making their dreams possible. This is one initiative taken by our organization, which has given us a lot of, as credit. And also we have
so, how many industrial parks exist today?
We have 3 industrial parks and 3 are in pipeline. Existing
places?
parks we have 3 and the other 3 are in pipeline.
Which
so 6 industrial
in?
parks. And another thing which we have taken up, why I'm trying to explain is it's not that somebody will come and help women. It is we ourselves need to help ourselves. So
Very
this
true.
is the aspect which we believed in 25 years and we tried to prove ourselves. And in the process, we helped many women who have become successful entrepreneurs. One aspect I wanted to mention is there are a lot of wonderful schemes existing with the government of India, which many of us may not know, but it's a high time that we take advantage of it. For example, we have an under Atal Incubation Mission. It is called AIM. Even my incubation manager also joined this meeting, Mr. Nikhil. We try to give technology and innovation to startups. Not that women are anyway, inferior, or I don't even say that they are superior, but if we are able to access the right platform, I think they can do wonders. This is what we believed, and we got this incubation facility. We have a lot of innovations happening. Even taking into consideration this pandemic, we have created wonderful initiatives, like even they are making Jamiban, which is antivirus and anti-germs sterilizer for even hospitals and all that. That's one of the innovation started by a very small entrepreneur, which really taking, It's attracted even Invest India, Government of India also. So like that, we have, if you're given an opportunity, women can do wonders. There is a lady who makes with the solar. She helps a lot of farmers in providing solar dryers, where the fresh fruit and vegetables are dried and supplied to the market. These are the initiatives. When we talk about empowering women in rural areas, we have a Agri Entrepreneur Program where women can take advantage. One industrial park which we are creating in a very rural area is with the support of Ministry of Food Processing, where common facilities like Tetra Pak, cold storage, warehouse is given by the government. And there are all very small enterprises which are coming around that industrial estate. There are about 100 industries. Using these common facilities, they are able to.
Which place is this?
They are not very big people or very rich people. They are all coming from a very small background. And this is what rural India requires. I mean, a cluster approach and taking advantage of Government of India schemes. One scheme which I can mention here is recently we have taken an initiative of making 7 or 8 of our entrepreneurs, made them into a cluster, and we availed on the PMKVY, that is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, where they get around 30% subsidy, and only 5% is their investment, up to 25 lakhs each. 7 of them put together, they are manufacturing stocks, and it is ready for export. So these initiatives need to happen in rural areas. I can then mention a number of things which we can really do together as a cluster, taking advantage of various schemes. Another Prime Minister, Kaushal, that is agricultural program, that is Kaushal Vikas or something it is called, where, up to 7 crores is given in rural area if women form into a group and start food processing. And I think we are doing that in one of the nearest areas to East Godavari district, where I explained to you the common facilities will be packaging and other facilities. What I mean is, along with the digital skills, bringing technology like incubation, and also availing the schemes of many ministries like Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Food Processing, will help women to take off. And information is very important. It's not education, but information is important. Information is the real source for us to strengthen ourselves, and coming together is important. Join as a group and lead forward and take up the demand in the market and try to make it as a project.
Fantastic.
So this is my view of this rural entrepreneurship. I think in India, micro enterprise, 121 million people are employed. I can tell you in micro enterprises. So they have a very good future. I hope pandemic is a challenge, but it's an opportunity also. So let them take it. And I want to explain here, a few years back under Ministry of Textiles, we have trained 30,000 women in rural areas.
We'll come back to you. Let us hear from others. All right?
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Neeta ma'am, can we hear from you?
Yes.
Neeta,
Hi,
Aneja? Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yes. Hi, everyone. And it is so encouraging to hear, the success stories of Alip and Digigam and Lajja and Atmanirbhar Foundation. See, where we come in. We have a federation of buying agents. We are the international sourcing specialists. We have the expertise in connecting the international fraternity with what is produced in India. With the lockdown, with how situation is coming up, there's a lot of demand in international markets for eco-friendly products, from products which are being manufactured by artisans. See, we have an association in which at least 500 buying agents, that means who are the eyes and ears of international fraternity. We are representing them in India. That means we are connected with all parts of the world. We are in any case very instrumental in generating the foreign exchange reserves of India. But at the same time, our purpose is also to give back. With the kind of expertise we have, the kind of knowledge we have, the kind of knowledge most of our members have, they're connected in different product line with different parts of the world, with different retail stores, with different wholesalers, with different buyers. Now India has to get up, and this is how it is. Even we started this process last year. In September, we had an event for socially responsible organizations and NGOs and individuals and associations like you, and I'm sure all of you will get connected to us, and because we are having another event in September, we connecting them all together. The bamboo cluster was there, people from Ludhiana were there, people from Assam clusters were there, the water hyacinth people were there. So we had a very good package. Now, what I, through this forum, want to say that we are already working in the direction of empowering women, empowering rural artisans through our mentorship programs, through the exhibitions that we have, through this big platform that we are creating, because we all want to give back to society now. We want to impart our expertise now. So under that September event I have talked about, and I would request everyone to join hands and let us all connect together and do something which projects in front of the world that Indian artifact, Indian artisans, rural women can do a lot. Second is our mentorship program. See, what we face is that most of these socially responsible associations, the artisans that you're working with, the rural women that you're working with, what happens is that they're very good in their art, they're getting empowered by all your good work, and all of us are doing our bit. So we are here to mentor them in the sense that they can really internationally market their product, they can package it well, they know all about how, what is the way to, market it in the international markets. So we are here to scale up their business to the next level. So this is our initiative. This is how we want to do. We want to join hands with the like-minded associations. We want to have, we have around, as I mentioned, national sourcing specialists with us. So they are all mentors in their own way. There are a lot of women with us. We will be happy to impart our knowledge, what we have gained over the years, with women who are in your respective associations, and we will help them to scale up. We will help them to make them more visible. And I know a lot of e-commerce platforms are also working on it, providing continuous livelihoods, continuous focus on the artisan products, on the rural women products. But we want to do our bit. We want to combine. Now this is high time. We all work together, and lockdown has taught us a lot. It has taught us to be connected well. It is, and DG Gaon, I'm sure you're doing a great job in connecting everybody together. So I would request that let us all join hands and let us scale our businesses together. Let us empower the women artisans together. Show them that international markets are waiting for you. Your products are awesome. We are looking for sustainable and eco-friendly products. All clusters are doing such beautiful job. So we can all come under one umbrella and take it forward. This is my line of thought. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Riddhi, can you please add to this?
Oh, yes. It was such a pleasure listening to Satyaji, Prerna, Neetaji, and Rama ma'am. Beautiful work you guys are doing. We have recently started, when I talk about, I represent Lajja. I proudly represent Lajja. So Lajja started 4 years before with a sole focus on development of women. So when we talk about that women want to do business, they want to become entrepreneurs, but 99% of the women fail to understand that they need to develop within first. They need to understand their strengths and then get into business. Google analysts say that it is 92.58% women which fail to understand their own worth. And that's how many a times they start with their business, they start with entrepreneurship, but they fail to take it on a longer run. So Lajja helps them with self-development, focused work on self-development, and recently been a year and a half that we've started skills development segment as well. So when I talk about skills development, our trainers, our tutors, our mentors would help women, urban and a bit of the rural. We have recently started a year back, and we train them for developing their skills. We support them to start their business. We have tie-ups wherein they even support them for funding, but the funding is at 0% so that they don't have much burden on them. And also we have started connecting with few people who are organizations, I would say, who are helping and supporting them as a part of CSR. So there is no loan segment on them. We have not as such touched the government facilities for women because we're not working on that segment at all. We've recently started. We also have Lajja Growth Platform wherein we support, we handhold women to upscale their businesses. Say it be a seasoned businesswoman, or say it be a startup, or say it be somebody who wants to initiate, who has a business plan in mind but doesn't know how to do it. So we have started Lajja Growth Platform wherein we have mentors right from you name it, and we have 19-20 mentors who are considered to be the father of startups, they would say, or we have somebody who is supporting the cyber crime even to the CBI and police. So we have all these mentors on board, and these mentors are 24/7 there to support this Lajja Growth Platform members who are kind of seeking support to upscale and upscale their business. Also, we have a lot of, we have a segment at Lajja which is called Saath Ki Baat, because we feel that not many women want to invest in their growth and upgrade their skills or upgrade their own self. So there are a lot of freebies that is what we offer. In fact, 90% of the work we do is we don't charge for that. So Saath Ki Baat is a segment wherein we invite experts across the globe, and we invite them to connect. We talk to our women, and we want them that probably through these talks they might get inspired. So Saath Ki Baat is giving us an amazing feedback, because a lot of women have been benefited from that. So this is something which we have been working at Lajja. Also at Lajja, we have a lot of WhatsApp groups. Now, why WhatsApp groups? Because at this WhatsApp groups, we probe a question, we probe a situation each day, and we want women to consider this. So obviously Lajja is giving a very non-judgmental space to women to speak and connect with each other. But understanding this, that women do not talk what they actually need to talk, Lajja supports them, Lajja probes them to talk and discuss it out. And all the WhatsApp group, what we have, minimum around 14,000 plus women are directly connected with me over WhatsApp. And each woman, we support, we probe them, and we share that the problems what you face in day-to-day life is not something which you only face, it's we all are facing. So it's just not that me being a founder, but everybody of us are facing the similar situation. But how do you work on yourself? How do you keep yourself smiling all the day? Or how do you inspire your own self is what we talk about it. Probably during the WhatsApp, when somebody is venting out, there are people who would not advise, but they would support that I understand. So it's no advice zone, it's no suggestion zone, it's just that giving them space, a completely non-judgmental space to share. So this is all about Lajja. And now at Lajja, the new segment which we recently, in the next few months, we are starting is the boot camp for women, wherein we are going to support them for their business. But again, not deviating from the concept of what Lajja was started with. Lajja is, and Lajja has been and will forever believe that a woman needs to upgrade herself, understand herself, and understand her strengths. Then whatever she wants to do ahead in life is okay for her, or probably that's success for her. But provided she understands herself. So Lajja has been, will, is always concentrating on self-development of women. So whatever we do, associating Lajja with, or associating women or supporting them in their work segment. But again, we will never deviate from the motto for which Lajja has been started, is helping women to understand their own strengths. That's all about the work we do at Lajja. And I'm sure lots to learn from Prernaji, Rama ma'am, Satyaji, and Neeta ma'am. You people are doing fabulous work. I'm sure I'm going to connect for benefit of my women, my Lajja women.
Fantastic. Awesome. So let's hear from Pavni.
Hi, Atul.
Hi.
So basically, I heard all the amazing things that you guys are doing. Putting things into the context of Mathura, when I shifted, and the kind of observations that I had regards with the ecosystem here in Mathura, I felt that the number one thing that was missing. So there were two kind of factors basically that played a role when it came to women entrepreneurship. Some of them being the intrinsic factors of women entrepreneurs, like Riddhi was talking about what they do at Lajja, and then some of these were extrinsic factors. For example, the kind of family support that they're getting, the double burden of work, the ecosystem, the infrastructure, all of that. So we started working on both simultaneously. One thing that we started doing in order to build up the intrinsic factor is we started with doing some we realized that the major thing that was missing was identity for most women, especially the women in rural areas, and some of them who are working, let's say, in family businesses, right? They don't have identity. You ask them what is it that they do, they'll tell you we help our husband in business, okay, or we also do this, but that's not their core thing that they do, right? So they'll never identify their business as the core things that they're doing. So we realized that is something that is really missing, and they needed to really start reclaiming that identity as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman. So we started working on those areas. So we literally started by hand holding them in making their first business cards and explaining them how to use business cards and how to explain themselves. That's the first thing that we did. Then we started doing something called as business pathshalas. So these were basically small workshops, because we realized that it was difficult for women to engage into larger incubation or entrepreneurship or bootcamp programs. So we started doing workshops every monthly or every 2 weeks, which were 1-hour workshops. The most important thing is that when we did these workshops, we took feedback from women. What time is it that is convenient to you? What date is it? What day of the week is it that is convenient to you? And based on that feedback, we try to make sure that most of the time and day that we do this, most of the women are actually available. Okay. Another thing that we started doing when we started doing these workshops, we realized that even though they were, coming out on the front of upskilling themselves, but there was still a lot of socio-cultural issues that were holding them back, and that needed to be out in the open and be discussed in the open. And Mathura being a very small city, there were a lot of stereotypes. For example, topics like mental health, or topics like menstrual health, all of these things were not discussed. So what we started doing was we started collaborating with media partners and started doing something called a social charcha. Social charchas were essentially platforms where there were experts, but the experts were not just the people who spoke. It was the women who spoke. The experts were only there to correct them if they were going factually wrong. So mostly, like, for that 1.5 or 2 hours of the social charcha discussion, the women would speak up their experiences and their opinions on a particular topic. So that is something that was really, really helpful, because it actually enabled the women to speak up their opinions and break through their stereotypes. Most of the times what happens is that if you actually sit them down and start giving them yarn, they might not take it very positively, or they might go home with nothing. And then what we started doing is very recently we started with an annual program which is called an awards function, right? Because I said, for example, in Mathura in general, there was no ecosystem for women entrepreneurs. So we needed people in Mathura to know that, you know, you have these women entrepreneurs, they're doing an amazing job. We wanted other women to know that this is something that is possible. These are the women who've done it and you can do it too. So we started doing an awards program, and this is something that we do at a very large scale in the city. The first year that we did, we found out women who were already doing very good work and needed to be recognized for it. And when these women were recognized, it was this moment for them where they were like, you know, I've been working so hard throughout my entire life, and this is the first time that I ever got recognized for it. And this time when we did it, we kind of changed the theme to women who have the most potential to grow further. And what we did was we connected them with mentors from different industries. So these mentors will actually be guiding them on a one-on-one basis for 10 weeks, which will be absolutely free of cost. And the second thing that we started doing for them is, for example, we collaborated with eGrowth because their stories had to be covered. So we really wanted their stories to go out to more people. We wanted their family members to read their stories and recognize the effort that they're putting in. So most of the times, again, because of the dual pressure of work, the work that women do as an entrepreneur goes unrecognized, right? And the family plays a very major role. So while we counsel the women entrepreneurs, we also make sure that the family is an active part of that counseling, their family, or a passive part of that counseling. They somehow know what the journey of the woman entrepreneur and what she's going through. So we try and focus on this as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is, I think, more or less the kind of programs that we've been doing.
So we've already passed 10:30, and I would request the audience if you can stay here for another half an hour. The conversation is just about started building. All right. So Pavni, you got some breakfast. All right. So the next question is, what are the challenges that the women folk are facing? So let's hear from each one of you on that. Fastest finger first.
Yeah, Atulji, let me grab it. Basically, the challenges, yes, are there, but they are there for everyone.
And we'll have to be really fast. Let us complete this in about 10 minutes. Then we'll have some slot for open questions, because I want the audience also to participate. Yeah, please.
Yeah, basically here in the rural, for the women to do business, challenges are there because they are there everywhere, even for urban. Whenever you want to do anything, there are challenges. But challenges have to be, you know, surpassed or converted into opportunity. And that is what, for that, of course, the support is required in villages. And that is where the Stand Up India program of the government helps them actually with the funding, with the mentoring, and like I came to know about this Atal Innovation Mission thing. So everything there are there. So actually, only thing is someone has to bring them together. Actually, these rural folks who have to become entrepreneur, and the facilities and schemes of the government. In addition, maybe some rich guys or businesses around the villages have to support them through CSR also. So with that, I think, Prerna, you may have the real experience.
Yeah.
Prerna.
Did we lose Prerna? No, she's there.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are, yeah.
So the unique challenge which rural Indian women or urban Indian women is facing is coming back to the mainstream working life, because they have limited hours with them, because they have to rear their child also. At the same time, they have to be coming back to the working mainstream. For rural India, there is additional problem of Parda system, which I said earlier also, that there are many fights which they have to go inside their families, because when they have to come out, their families stop them. And why it happens is because they are not economically empowered. So providing entrepreneurship to rural women will give them a voice, actually, which our honorable Prime Minister rightly said, vocal. So being vocal would be one solution to that, and bringing them to mainstream economic ecosystem, which Pawnee was reiterating every time, is very important. So yes, the major challenge which they are facing is coming back to the mainstream working cycle of the economy.
All right. Neetaji?
I would like to.
Yeah. Please, Pavni. Pavni, go ahead.
So I would like to add some of the challenges that, in my experience, I've noticed, and this also comes with a lot of discussion from different incubation programs that are being run for women across India. One of the primary reasons, primary problems that women entrepreneurs face, as I think somebody also pointed out earlier, is how do you actually define success as a woman entrepreneur? Like, as a woman, how do you define success as an entrepreneur for yourself? So that is, I think, something that most women entrepreneurs do not have a clarity on. One of the reasons that this could be is because you don't really know what is the percentage that you need to put into your family and your housework, and what is the percentage you're going to put into work. So that double burden of work somewhere kind of is there, and because of which you're not really able to define your business goals very clearly. Another thing, if we talk about women who are, let's say, in the age group of under 25, the problem that they face is higher education versus marriage versus entrepreneurship. Okay, so that is a constant debate that is there for most women. So for example, I personally know a lot of girls who would make wonderful co-founders and CEOs, but their families would always be like, get married and then we can talk about, you can, whatever your family is okay with, or wherever you get married. So that's a problem. Third thing that I feel is really there is, especially when we talk about rural areas, is constrained mobility and safety. So how do you really get out of the village or the city, get exposure, be a part of activities that happen? So let's say startup, stand-up events that happen, or workshops that happen, activities that happen. Women cannot really be a part of these workshops, right? Because one reason, lack of knowledge वगैरह तो चलो जो है वो है, but even if you tell them this is what is happening, constrained mobility does play a very significant role, just being able to reach that place at that particular time. Mostly I feel that low financial decision making is another thing, right? So even in US, more than 60% women depend on their male counterparts for financial decision making. Now definitely there is much less than 60% women who are unemployed in the US, much more who are working. But just working or just being an entrepreneur doesn't really mean that you are owning your own financial decisions. Okay, so that I feel is somewhere lacking. And honestly, even for me, I struggle a lot of times with my financial decisions, and that's not because I'm not educated or I'm not confident, but it's somewhere, what conditioning has done for most women, especially in terms of how we handle money, how we think about money, the kind of relationship that we've built with money over the period of time through conditioning. Those are some of the challenges that I feel are there. In my opinion, for
Awesome.
women
Thank you.
entrepreneurs. And one more thing I would like to say, just one more. I feel that most skill development programs that we have today, especially the ones that are run by the government, I feel that they're very outdated. Now, I don't have much data, this is just my opinion. This is not backed by experience. But when I look at skill development centers and what they're teaching, it's still stitching, makeup, craft. All of these things are not really something that are 21st century entrepreneurial skills, or something that can be converted into marketable, monetizable skills as an entrepreneur. And even if they were to be, the standards today in these industries are much, much higher. So the kind of standards at which skill development centers are still operating in terms of entrepreneurial training, that is something I think that really needs to notch up. High time, especially when we're putting in so much money into our skill development programs.
So,
Fantastic. Thank you.
so beautifully said by Pavni and Prerna ji. I would love to add my bit over here. So when we're talking about entrepreneurship or rural or urban women, we specifically mention women entrepreneurs. It says it all. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. Why do we segregate women and men? Or why do we name it as women entrepreneurs and men? That says it all, that what difficulties we as women face when we talk about entrepreneurship. And also, yes, and that's the biggest reason that we are supporting entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So we recently started our e-commerce site supporting women. So whether you are into making thepla or whether you are making any other products, we are there to support you. So the e-commerce site is already up and we've started putting the products there. We also started tie-ups with delivery agencies who can deliver. So roti, theplas, which is perishable or which is not perishable. Both the things we are trying to support women in that this way. But yes, there are a lot of challenges, and as Pavni rightly said, the skills development workshops to a certain extent, conducted by government, I personally find it really outdated. I have experienced this, and that's the reason Lajja is focusing on skills development, getting the best of the industry to support women, say it be in urban area. Rural, we have untouched as of now, but yes, we are supporting NGOs. So we are supporting women who are from rural area and part of an NGO. We are supporting them. We are updating them on the skills so that they can in turn launch that as a business. And yes, they have come back to us and they have shown pictures, they have shared their earnings, the numbers they have won, and they do share their success stories with us. So this is what Lajja has been doing. And but I would also, before I end, I would also like people to just keep one thing in mind, is stop addressing women entrepreneurs as women entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs. Let's not make it more gender related, and that's actually shows that how difficult it goes to sustain yourself as a woman in the world of entrepreneurship, say it be urban or say it be rural.
Got it. Thank you, Riddhi. So can we hear from Neeta ji?
Yes, just carrying on to what Riddhi said in the end, I like to quote one of my most favorite authors and one of the most important feminists, Gloria Steinman. Women are always saying we can do anything that men can do. I suppose it's high time men should be saying we can do anything what women can do. So having said that, I feel there are a lot of challenges still the women entrepreneurs are facing, and most of you have said that we still have I feel a patriarchal society. We need to develop on skill sets. We need a lot of mentoring to do our little things, and we also need more experience, and there has to be a sustained livelihood. I have a little bit of some quotes, some statistics which I like to share with you, and I suppose maybe that'll make us all think and maybe carry it forward and maybe think in our respective spaces later. You see, 27% of women in the workforce are far below right now the world average of 48%. And with GDP contribution of 18%, we women are still at one of the world's lowest. 8.1 million women-owned enterprises make 30.7% of total enterprises in the country. 11.5 lakh of women-owned enterprises in India are owned by self-help groups. So I feel that still there's a lot we need to think looking at all these statistics. And I suppose in case women's participation increases, it'll add at least $700 billion to the GDP growth in the next 10 years. So I think we need a lot of hand-holding support, starting from business ideation to helping women setting up their businesses and becoming enterprises. That's my point.
Thank you. Ramaji.
Yeah, I think what Nita said is true. A lot of hand-holding is required. though we say that women entrepreneurs, the gender doesn't matter, but still we have a lot of issues like access to credit and what we produce is a very low productivity. Even in rural areas, if you look at entrepreneurs, their quality, their production, everything is very low level. So that means they require technology and an integration of everything. The ecosystem is required. So that is not happening. I don't say that women are, below their counterparts, but we require some kind of support. That support, particularly is more required in rural areas in the form of cluster approach, in the form of healthcare, and also bringing technology to them. Small interventions, like one of the pioneer speaker was talking about skills. I do accept there are a lot of skills, but industry required skills are lacking. I mean, if suppose we want to do to a corporate, the skill is different. If we are an ancillary to corporate, like Aditya Birla or somebody, I mean, those skills are lacking, and this is what is required. Mapping of skills and giving them the right skills is very important. So even credit, when we talk about credit, though we have wonderful schemes, access to credit is one of the biggest difficulty particularly for women. And health is another aspect which they ignore. That also they need to take care, and then only if you are healthy, you are economically empowered, I feel. So these are few issues, and the ecosystem is very important. Whatever organizations, capacity building is also the need. The women organizations capacity building, which impart a good programs, which give them good information, which give them an integrated approach. This is my submission.
All right. Thank you. So I think so far the conversation has been really awesome. Let us hear from the audience. So if you are connected to the talk, please say a yes in the chat box. Let us see how many of you are there. Okay. Shefali says yes. Shashi Chaudhary says yes. Jaideep says yes. Okay, great. Fantastic. All right. So now let us hear from the audience. So there might be some people who are working in this space, and since we don't know them personally, we've not heard from them. Just half a minute each. We really are hard pressed on time. So you can please unmute yourself and share.
Hi, Jaideep here. Can I say something?
Hi, Jaideep, please. Yes.
I have been listening to all of you, and first of all, kudos to all of you for the work that you've been doing. It's very impressive. I was just thinking the amount of potential that is in this particular chat. If all of you can get together on a particular forum and combine what you have been doing, it's going to be awesome. I mean, can you imagine the sort of workforce, the sort of power, and the sort of resources that you can bring to the table together? I think you should definitely think about getting together offline and taking this forward as a group. Thank you.
That's a wonderful idea, Jaideep. And we already, Neeta already mentioned that. I think this panel is over. We're going to connect and take this ahead for sure.
So,
okay,
let me take the credit here. So my job is to identify such pearls and make a garland out of it. All right.
No doubt.
Till less than 24 hours, they did not know each other. Okay. And just being in a WhatsApp group also, they would not have known each other. So in spite of nudging, we did not have the conversation started. Only now we've got into it, what the potential is there. So my request to each one of you is start looking at the larger picture, far beyond yourself. What is it that you can contribute? There is enough and more to be contributed. And enough and more beyond the gender fight also. Okay. Right. Yeah, please. Shefali, you want to say something? Yeah, sorry.
Yes, hi.
Yeah,
So
please.
I have been associated with National Social Services, and during my college and post-graduation days also, we actually adopted a village called Rajpura in Rajasthan. And I'm talking about, many years ago. I'm sure that the problem of women have not really changed much from there. So what we did as an institution, I mean, we were trying to help them and, uplift, educate them, etc. So we decided that if we try to educate a woman and help her start a completely new business from the scratch, this will be a lot of effort. So we started to identifying and mapping the skills of their husbands and trying to build their careers or their businesses supporting to their husbands. For example, अगर कोई किसी का husband खेती करता है, for example, somebody is a farmer and he's growing a particular crop, then this particular woman could be involved in making, let's say, dalia. For example, if you are into production of rice, you can do puffed rice. So what happened was that it actually reduced the effort that we had to put in to uplift these. This also took care a lot of social care of the problems at the family front, because it's a related business could be partner. I mean, the husband could be partner and did well. This is one. Second, I was very recently speaking to somebody called Mr. Vincent Ogulu, who is the Vice Chancellor of Swarthmore University, who's in New York, and they are doing some brilliant work in Impact World. And they work with women, especially in Africa, and they have similar problems. And this was still a week ago, I was speaking to him. I think it will be a wonderful idea for people who are leading these projects to have a word with these people, because they're trying to do things on the global scale. That's my second input. Third is, there is a product called Ella Pads. We were speaking about sanitary napkins. ELLA, Ella Pads. It is a project which was started by MIT, professors, and the founder is Mr. Rahman from Bangladesh. This is a sustainable product which is produced from wastage of textile manufacturing. Neetaji, this is primarily for you. So whatever, surplus, after you cut the fabric, that gets thrown away or, is used into various sectors for reprocessing, they reprocess this particular, textile raw material, and they use it to produce sustainable pads, especially for the use of, villagers. So these are few things. Another thing, see, there are a lot of designers who are from very, very reputed institutes, who are doing excellent work in villages with the help of these women. So as Jaideep very rightly said, we all need to identify, come up with a map, because see, there are already a lot of people who are doing. The only thing we need to do is just build that bridge. So there are people out there looking for talent to help, these women produce handicrafts of that particular place or textiles. So that's my input. Thank you.
Fantastic. So while I was listening to Shefali and to all of you, I think it is time that we have a women roundtable. I don't want to use a term empowering women, so that is too derogatory. Okay, so there is nothing, it is beyond human to empower anybody, whether men or women. Okay, so how about having a women roundtable? If you are interested in being a part of the women roundtable, what will we do? I don't know. Which way will we go? I don't know. Why are we there? I don't know. If you are interested in this, please write WRT in the chat box and we will connect offline. Okay, WRT stands for Women Roundtable. This is my takeaway from today's conversation. Okay, can we have some more participation from the audience? Rucha, you got a tick mark. You want to say something? Rucha?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, good morning, everyone, and hats off to each one of you for all the wonderful work that you've been doing.
हमारे पास और कोई काम नहीं था तो हमने सोचा ये कर लेते हैं.
नहीं. So, yes, I have a question to all the panelists.
Please.
Whoever wish to answer. See, many of in the
Okay, so
discussion
my
just came.
suggestion is whosoever is speaking, please introduce, take maybe 10 seconds to introduce yourself. Okay, so that people know whom are they speaking to.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
I'm Rucha and Rucha Thakkar, basically from Gujarat, and I have worked across India over social issues and basically disaster management and preparedness. I have personally visited Alip. Mrs. Rama will remember HomeNet India. So wonderful work that she's been doing with women in Hyderabad. So now my question is to the panelists. When we say, like, it has come several times in the discussion that even in US, the financial decision is taken by male counterparts or male partners or yeah. And India, of course, we have to cross a lot of way, long way to go. So, like what I heard that we are doing a lot of activities for that they become they start earning money. So my question comes, where does empowerment comes here? When women have no control over the money they have earned, women have no control over how to spend the money. She does not have own social security, and her work burden at home, because we are in a male dominating society. So when female starts going out of the house, that does not even a fraction of her work gets reduces at home. So she ends up doing drudgery, working in home and working out home. So for me, putting forcing women to earn and then women empowerment, ये मुझे नहीं digest हो रहा है. So please, I need your support to understand that.
So can I answer this question, Atul?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So I think there
So
are
you
multiple
are an
places.
empowered woman. You don't need to ask if you can answer.
But it's a panel. I would maintain the discipline of the panel. So basically, I think there is multiple aspects of this and the multiple ways in which our empowerment comes into place. I was just reading this yesterday that biologically, women have, when they're born, women have a better vocabulary. Women can speak more and with more words. But by the time we are 16 months old, just 16, okay, by the time a toddler is just speaking up, women's vocabulary is more limited than, so the girl child's vocabulary is more limited than the male child's, okay? And this keeps translating as you keep growing older. Your vocabulary as a woman keeps getting restricted because we're always said chup raho, dheere bolo, kam bolo. So now I'm not saying ki, if we kind of change this narrative now for women who are my age or your age, it might change. But what we're going to do with the younger generations, how we deal with them, that is where empowerment comes into place. So that, and I'm taking the example of vocabulary or speech, but it's kind of the same thing that translates into everything else, right? Conditioning. बचपन से हम कितने financial decisions लेते हैं, वो सब कुछ translate होता है कि हम बड़े होकर कैसे उनको handle करते हैं. Number two is, with all due respect, I understand where is this coming from. Ki I already have a lot of work at home. How does forcing me to work outside empower me? Okay, so there are two aspects to this.
No,
number one,
it's not working outside is not empowered. What I'm saying is when women have no control over her own earned money and how to spend it and where to keep the money, how does it lead to empowerment? So it's not about just only earning or working outside home. My question goes beyond.
Right. So I think it's about, first of all, is obviously, I think a lot of things might not change for the existing, baby boomers generation, but for the incoming generations, we have the power to change a lot of things. And I think that is real empowerment. Like we have a lot of power to change things for the coming generations. And the second thing is in regards with financial decisions, I feel at least a particular significant section of women can reclaim their own financial
Okay, guys, we are at 11:01. those who are interested, we will continue for maybe another 10 minutes.
I had a reply for the lady who was
No, let Pavni just complete and then you can reply.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pavni, carry on.
Yeah, so somewhere I feel we'll all have to also, you know, kind of start reclaiming the financial decision making that we have. So it's not just about what is given, like being at the table, making sure that you speak up. That is also important. As much as space needs to be created for us at the table, we also need to make sure that when we get space at the table, we speak up. So it's kind of both. Like I said, intrinsic and extrinsic factors दोनों हैं आपको. We need to make sure, we need to spread enough awareness that the seat is given at the table, but we also need to be internally, you know, make sure that we use that position. There's so many women who, even though when they get a position at the table, they might not speak up, they might not put forth their opinions, and there's so many times when women are not even invited to the table. So both of these things I feel need to go hand in hand, and most financial decision makings happen at the dinner table. So अगर आप खाना बना रहे होगे, जब decision making हो रही होगी, तो शायद थोड़ा difficult हो जाए उसी time बात करना भी. So this is what I tell my mother, right, when she started working, कि अगर आप एक फुल टाइम मेड लगा लोगे तो आप ऑटोमेटिकली 5 टाइम्स ज्यादा अर्न कर लोगे. जितने पैसे फुल टाइम मेड को नहीं दोगे, उससे ज्यादा 5 टाइम्स you will be able to earn. And that is when it hit her. She was like, okay, you know, I'm okay saying no to a couple of...
See, my argument is, why you need a maid? Why can't you make your father help your mother? That is empowerment, no?
Yeah,
exactly. In fact, you know,
why
I think
the maid? Why you need maid? Your father should cook one meal, then it is empowerment.
Yeah, so Rucha, what we are talking about, I think there is there is this confusion about financial independence and empowering them. Or financial independence be complete nahi hai. See, it's a social issue.
Earning money is not your financial independence. You cannot replace earning money as a financial independence.
You're right.
That's where I'm coming from.
Guys, hold on. Let us.
Now you keep quiet now. Let us speak.
Satyaji, मरवादी आपने हम सबको.
I think नहीं. I think let's be a little solution oriented. ये कोई बहुत impossible task नहीं है, रुचा.
नहीं, it's not impossible task. But my question is, see, what I was hearing is कि मतलब या शायद मैंने गलत भी सुना है या मैंने कुछ मिस भी किया है.
अच्छा ठीक है. Guys, we will build on this conversation offline. Lokesh had something to share. Lokesh, is that in this line or something different?
और अतुल को खाना बिल्कुल नहीं बनाना था.
I had something to say to the lady who was actually now also opposing the whole thing, that why the husband or a father cannot make food. You have to work on solution-oriented families. If you are looking at creating problems in the family, you are actually putting something much more difficult than what we are wanting to achieve. So rather
it's
than
not
having,
about creating a problem.
Let me finish, please. Can I finish?
Yeah.
So we already have a problem. We already have a problem, and if we are now going aggressively to, I would say, mince it, crush it, I don't agree. Personally, in my opinion, the going by the maid theory is maybe a way forward to have an, I would say, contributing to the family. And there was one more lady who said that we have, Shefali said that we are looking at empowering them, how they can help their husbands or in the family business. So these are the ways where you, as soon as you start creating a value apart from what you're doing as a patriarchal society of managing home or kitchen, you yourself become dominant in the family. As long as you're creating value, even small advices to your husband in business, start taking initiative of asking them, what are the challenges you're facing? Can we, as husband and wife, can we share something? Can I give you something? So look at adding value, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it is maybe as a business partner. That I think is something which I can say that women will be actually powerful in the family.
So Atul, wonderfully said, Lokesh ji. I would like to add just one sentence. We belong to such a generation that we have seen the mindset which was very conservative, and we are seeing the new generation who are kind of accepting, and there's a lot of gender equality people are talking about. I think we have a lot of responsibility in us to set the mindset right for the future generation. And I'm sure we can do it because we are aware. We have seen both the generations. The together, we can surely make an impact. Yes, we can always work on the children, our children, you know, and make their change, help them to change their mindset and not follow their grandparents or the people who have conservative mindset.
Got it. Thank you, Riddhi. And by the way, guys, yesterday evening, my niece got me to do the washing at the home. So I washed the utensils at home after dinner.
I suppose this COVID has made it so simple for everybody. What we are arguing right now, but I think COVID has really made it easy, right? So everybody.
No, Riddhi, here sorry, Riddhi. Here I'll say कि if you read the, if you get the data from Childline or Abhayam project which government runs for women's safety, you will get to know the number of cases who have risen for women's physical abuse, mental abuse, the torture children are going through. Because of the lockdown, the torture in the house has just tremendously increased.
Riddhi is present to that and she's been dealing with this every day.
Yeah, I know. So that's why when she says that the lockdown has, created the scenario, but we should look into the bottom of the society in the villages where all these abuses and torture has just gone multiple times.
Atulji, do I have a permission to say something on this part?
मारोगे आप मेरे को वैसे बोल दो.
नहीं, मुझे सिर्फ रुचा जो कह रही है
आप प्लीज बताइएगा. Please introduce yourself, Shashi ji, so that all of us know whom we are speaking to.
Yeah, my name is Shashi Chaudhary and I am a practicing psychotherapist for a pretty long time.
चेहरा दिखाएंगे आप अपना?
Some other time.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
When we are on the round table.
Okay, all right, done. Please.
Yeah. So my thing was that I worked did a lot of research work nationwide on women, girl child education, because I am coming from basically from the education field. So we have worked on the education system and how these facilities which are given to the women, they really don't reach to them. So gender issue, we have also been under the research work of seeing how there was gender biases in textbooks also which were taught in the schools. So the gender biases enters into the mindset of the student who are just learning, even don't know what gender is. They are still in the process.
Absolutely.
So my thing was, when you're saying about Riddhi that COVID has taught them, because coming from a psychology background, please don't misunderstand any temporary behavioral change under the influence of the emotion, the threat, as a permanent change. It is just a moment, and it is just that they don't have anything else to do. And what Rucha is saying, this data is there, the fact is there, the increase of domestic violence is there, because women are in fact not getting their own time, and everything frustration is coming back to them as a violence to them. That's it. Thank you.
So I just, this particular thought just came to my mind. I mean, anybody can...
Shefali ji, आप थोड़ा ज़्यादा air time ले रही हैं. Let me check if there is somebody else who wants to say something. Just a minute. हाँ जी. Anybody else who wants to contribute, please? Pandey ji, Mithlesh ji, this one Sharda, Sanjeev ji. हाँ जी, Mithlesh ji, please. Sorry, Shefali, I really needed to get somebody else in. Yeah, thanks.
कोई बात
सिर्फ एक लाइन की बहुत ही शानदार डिस्कशन हो रहा है और वन ऑफ द बेस्ट पैनल जो अब तक का है, जो ऑलरेडी मैंने आपको लिखा है। और कमाल की बात ये है ना कि कम से कम मैं खुद रूरल इलाके से आता हूँ, भागलपुर जो बिहार का वन ऑफ द जो वर्स्ट पुअर इलाका है। तो मेरे दिमाग में भी ये सारी सुन के आया कि कम से कम इस किस्म की छोटी छोटी इनिशिएटिव से वहाँ के बेसिक लोगों के लिए कुछ न कुछ किया जा सकता है। आज चूंकि ये दिमाग में आया तो कल करने कुछ हो ही जाएगा। ढेर सारे लोगों को ये दिमाग में आया होगा कि चलो, लेकिन ये जो कर रहे हैं ना, इतना एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी, इतने वर्स्ट कंडीशन में कर रहे हैं कि बहुत शानदार है। इस किस्म का डिस्कशन ढेर सारे लोगों के दिमाग में एक तो सीड डाल ही देगा कि इस किस्म की छोटी एक्टिविटी किया जाए जो वो कर सकते हैं अपने अपने जगहों में, अपने अपने इलाकों में। थैंक यू।
मैं तो सर पकड़ कर बैठा हूँ, पुरुष खतरे में आ गए हैं भाई इस एक कन्वर्सेशन से। खैर, एनीबडी एल्स?
तो जी इतनी थोड़ी सी बात में खतरा हो गया, आप सोचो औरतें इस खतरे को कब से झेल रही हैं।
अरे हमें तो अंदेशा ही नहीं है ना। So that is why tectonic shifts are difficult to handle. All right. So gradual things. So we've spent maybe 1,000 years to create this mess. Okay, I'm not saying women, I'm saying men and women together. Okay, we've created this mess over a couple of millennia, right? So we've got, so अगर हम टेक्टोनिक शिफ्ट करेंगे ना, तो उसमें ब्रेक हो जाएगा फैब्रिक. तंत्र तोड़ना नहीं है, तंत्र को सुधारना है. I hope that makes sense.
नहीं Atul, it doesn't.
No.
Okay,
You
no
will
worries.
say airtime ले रही हूँ, but I think this is something I really want to say.
हाँ जी, please. नहीं तो आप
please let me, you know.
Only thing that the point will be then men will be talking about empowerment. So what I understand Atul is saying that the thing should be changed in a manner which should sustain the change, not another aggression part of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think देखिए कोई भी जो बेसिक चीज हम लोग करते हैं वो हमारे एजुकेशन से आती है. हमारी एजुकेशन में औरतों की कोई स्टैंडिंग नहीं है. प्लीज अलाउ मी टू फिनिश व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. हमारे वेद, हमारे पुराण, हमारी ट्रेडिशंस, हमारा लॉ, कितनी सारी आप उठा के हमारी टेक्स्ट बुक्स देख लीजिए, जो एक बच्चे का बेस, एक समाज का आधार बनता है, उसमें the entire emphasis primarily has been on men. Everything has been written
to that,
by
Shefali.
men.
Have you read the Ved? Vedas have not discriminated between men and women. Let's be very honest on that. Quoting Vedas is not a right way to do this thing.
No.
मैं भी इसको नहीं एक्सेप्ट
हमारे जो एकेडमिक, हमारी जो किताबें हैं ना, हम उसमें वेद पुराण नहीं पढ़ाते, लेकिन हमारी जो किताबें हैं उसमें जो है हम इतनी मॉरल वैल्यूज समझाते हैं. क्या हमने कभी भी ये अटेम्प्ट मारा कि हम अपने बच्चों को एक स्त्री की महत्ता को समझाएं? हम पुरुषों की, महान पुरुषों की महत्ता को समझा रहे हैं, लेकिन क्या हम अपने बच्चों को ये समझा रहे हैं? That's my point.
Shefali, I want to ask a question.
Disagree करता हूँ मैं भी.
एक मिनट, Shefali, one question. In your family, has any molestation happened for women?
What do you mean by molestation? Every woman in the society of India is molested. I'm sorry.
Let us not.
This is not a time for generalization. It's a very specific thing.
So I'm saying let us not generalize.
Come back to entrepreneurship and rural areas.
Atul, we are deviating. Atul, we are
No, but the point is here the women are in question, and if they are not safe, then the point is we have to talk about environment. But yes, we should avoid generalization and should be specific in answering.
Yeah, see, the point which I was trying to make was, or I am making, is that I understand all is not well, but then all is not unwell either. All those people who are there on this call, we would have probably experienced molestation to some extent, but that has not been so detrimental that we have lost our mind. You get what I'm saying? So that means there are some people on this planet who are still humans. And our job is to get more of these human beings together who can be more responsible. Rather than saying कि जी कल से सारे के सारे जो human beings बन जाओ, नहीं बनते. Does that make sense? Hello.
I think these things need deeper discussions.
Absolutely. So that is why the WIT is there. पांडे जी, बहुत दिनों के बाद देखे हैं आपको. आप बताइए कैसे हैं?
Sir, sorry for that. That last was
माफ किया सर आपको. अब आप बताएं.
सर तो मैं हिंदी
पहले आप थोड़ा सा परिचय दे दीजिएगा. हिंदी, अंग्रेजी, मैथिली किसी में भी चलेगा.
तो सर मेरा नाम डॉक्टर एल.के. पांडे है. मैं गांव से ही पैदा हुआ, गांव से निकल के आया, और अभी मैं इंडियन इंडस्ट्री एसोसिएशन का चेयरमैन हूँ, दिल्ली चैप्टर का. इससे पहले मेरे अपनी एक सीड कंपनी है जो गांव के लिए ही काम करती है, क्योंकि शहर के लोग खेती करते नहीं है. और गांव में हमने आज का सब्जेक्ट बड़ा अच्छा था. मैंने 4-5 काम छोड़ के आके ज्वाइन कर लिया था. तो जो टॉपिक मुझे दिख रहा था कि मैं आज इशू डिस्कस कर रहा था अपने कंपनी में, जेंडर इशू के ऊपर, जेंडर इशूज इन एग्रीकल्चर. इससे पहले मैंने एक बड़ा आधे घंटे का लेक्चर भी दिया था IRRI में, इरी में. आई थिंक रमा देवी सीड इंडस्ट्री से परिचित भी है. तो मेरा एक कहना था, मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ अपनी ग्रैंड मदर का, जो गांव में थी, अपने आप में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन थी, अपने आप में एक जो है, वहाँ कभी भी हमें यह नहीं महसूस हुआ कि इनके आगे किसी का वजूद है, गांव में किसी का वजूद है, और कोई नॉलेज ऐसी नहीं है जो नॉलेज ना हो। अपने आप में डॉक्टर, अपने आप में हकीम, अपने आप में फूड प्रोसेसर, अपने आप में इंडस्ट्री क्रिएट कर देना, अपने आप में हेल्थ एडवाइस करना सबकी, और बड़ी से बड़ी बीमारी ठीक कर देना। इवन सीड इंडस्ट्री से चूंकि मैं हूँ तो मैं बता रहा हूँ कि सीड कौन सा यूज करना है, कौन सी वैरायटी यूज करनी है, वहां पे उसका ही डिसीजन होता था। और ये सब चीजें अब आके मुझे लगता है हमने अपनी दुनिया सीमित कर ली है, और हम बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजों पे देख रहे हैं। ये मोलेस्टेशन, ये सब कुछ गांव में बहुत कुछ होता था, अभी भी होता है, पर दुनिया कहीं रुकी नहीं हुई है, और उस चीज को हैंडल करने के तरीके बहुत सारे हैं हम लोग के पास। ठीक है, हम दूसरे उस पर भी काम कर रहे हैं, सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट एट वर्क प्लेस पे भी हम काम कर रहे हैं, उस पर भी हम ऑर्गेनाइज करते रहते हैं सेमिनार। मैं जेंडर इश्यूज के ऊपर काम कर रहा हूँ, चाहे इंडस्ट्री की बात हो, चाहे एग्रीकल्चर की बात हो, चाहे किसी भी इंटरनेशनल फोरम की बात। मुझे लगता है कि अभी हमने तो कभी हमने जेंडर डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं किया, और अभी भी हम सीड इंडस्ट्री के लिए काम करते हैं गांव गांव में। 30 साल से गांव में हम घूम रहे हैं, 30 साल पहले भी गांव से ही निकले थे हम। तो आज भी हम ये देखते हैं कि जब हम बात करते हैं तो कहीं भी कोई कमी मुझे दिखती नहीं है, मुझे एक से एक टीचर मिल जाती है।
So, पांडे जी, मैं इस चीज के ऊपर ना थोड़ा सा पर्सनली एग्री नहीं करता। जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी है, हम बीइंग मेल्स वी माइट ओवरलुक इट, क्योंकि हम उस नजरिए से देखते हैं दुनिया को, राइट? आप कुछ स्पेसिफिक है तो वो शेयर करें, नहीं तो फिर हम आगे बढ़ते हैं, क्योंकि अभी काफी समय हो गया है।
नहीं, सबका अपना अपना पर्सपेक्टिव है सर।
बिल्कुल सही है।
इसी में बहुत सारे फीमेल्स ऐसे हैं, दे आर सुपर पावर्ड, एंड उनके आगे कोई भी ऐसी चीज नहीं है, और कुछ ऐसे है साइकोलॉजिकली जो बर्डन है, जो चैलेंज्ड हैं, उनके लिए बहुत सारे इश्यूज हो सकते हैं। गांव में भी देखिए, हर मेल भी, सर मैं बता दूं, हर मेल भी उतना पावर्ड नहीं है, और हर फीमेल भी उतनी पावरलेस नहीं है।
एब्सोल्युटली, या, थैंक यू। ऑलराइट, थैंक यू जी। विजय जी, आपने हाथ उठाया। अनम्यूट विजय जी, आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही, आवाज नहीं आ रही। आई थिंक आपका ऑडियो कनेक्टेड नहीं है। नो। हाँ जी मिथिलेश जी।
इनफैक्ट मुझे लग रहा है ना, आपकी डिस्कशन और शिफाली जी डिस्कशन के हमेशा एक इशू रहता है कि पावर के साथ दुनिया चलती है। अगर औरतें कमजोर होती हैं तो उनके साथ दिक्कत होता है, और अगर वो मजबूत जहां है ना, वहां उनके साथ कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। ये अगर फाइनेंशियली फ्री हो जाएं, एजुकेटेड हो जाएं, तो उनके साथ प्रॉब्लम अपने आप काफी घट जाती है।
बिल्कुल सही है।
अब अगर मेल भी अगर कमजोर है ना, तो उनके साथ भी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन उतना ही होता है।
राइट।
हेलो,
या विजय जी।
मैं विजय शाह बम्बई से बात करता हूँ। जायंट वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन जो एनजीओ है, 48 ईयर से इंडिया में काम कर रहा है। हमारी हेड साइना एनसी है। साइना एनसी इज लीडिंग ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड फॉर द वेरियस एनजीओज. Definitely will be interested to collaborate with all the activities that have been proposed today and the future. Thank you.
Okay, Tom, thanks. So I think most of the even our speakers have gone for the day. So can we wind up now, or any last remarks if you want to give? I should be fine. Yeah, Shifali, you want to say something?
Yeah, it is. I think these are very deeper issues. I'll be very honest. When you said, Shifali, have you been molested? Okay, and I have absolutely no shame in this. Okay, I come from a family of doctors. Okay, we are 2 sisters and 1 brother. I would not say once, multiple times as a child, and by people who are known. You understand?
I'm sorry.
So
I'm really
ये इतने डीप इश्यूज हैं कि ये एक कॉन्वर्सेशन से ऐसे रिजॉल्व नहीं हो सकते। एंड अनफॉर्चुनेट बात पता है क्या है, जब ये होता है ना, और अगर आप जाके किसी को इंटरेस्ट करके बताते हो, तो आपको ये कहा जाता है इवन एज अ चाइल्ड, बेटा किसी को बताना मत। मैं यही कह रही हूँ, हमारे एजुकेशन में अगर हमें एम्पावर करना है ना, हमें अपने एजुकेशन सिस्टम में बदलाव लाना पड़ेगा। हमें अपने बच्चों को सिखाना पड़ेगा, हमें अपनी माओं को सिखाना पड़ेगा कि अपने लड़कों को सिखाएं कि औरत की इज्जत करें। हो सकता है वो उनको काम में मदद ना कर पाए, सपोर्ट नहीं कर पाए, बिकॉज वो अपने काम में बिजी हैं। आई एम फाइन विद दैट। रिस्पेक्ट, बस, डॉट, उसके आगे कुछ नहीं। अगर आप एक औरत को बस रिस्पेक्ट भी देते हो ना, she will probably do anything for anyone, because we by nature are givers. God has made us like that, right? That's it. Just respect, full stop. हमारे एजुकेशन सिस्टम में कोई बदलाव कुछ तो चाहिए, बस हम अपने पुरुष समाज को ये सिखा सकें कि इज्जत करो, बस, और कुछ नहीं। सारे प्रॉब्लम्स हमारे सॉल्व हो सकते हैं, बस हम सिर्फ ये करें। So I rest my case.
Got it. Thank you.
The other person respecting. I will just say right now, if we teach women to respect themselves, then they don't have to beg outside.
Yeah. Shashi, you've gone mute.
Children. Shashi ji?
Yes.
बच्चों के बारे में क्या? बच्चों के बारे में क्या?
So that's what I'm saying. The first thing has to start from the mother or the child, whosoever it is. First, the education will not discriminate between boy and girl child. The mutual respect is equally important. But right now, if we talked about women, if women respect themselves, there is a lack of self-love, self-appreciation, self-respect. Why they have to beg outside that others have to respect me? And I think what Mitleji said was that the power game. If they are powerful, then they don't even beg outside, those who are empowered. First and foremost, it all starts. We have to start somewhere. It's very easy to generalize and give a very common casual sweeping statement. From beginning with just not the respect asking, fine, Shefali, what you're saying, respect. So it starts from self. अगर आप वेदों को समझते हैं, उसमें है कि we have to take the responsibility of our own existence.
एक 10 साल का बच्चा अपने आप को क्या रिस्पेक्ट करके प्रोटेक्ट करेगा? शशि जी, आप क्या बोल रहे हो?
Let's talk offline. Atul ji, please share the number so that because others are there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do
wonderful.
Shashi ji, if you can please share your number on the chat. I don't know whether I have your numbers. And yeah, so for me personally, this has been a state shift kind of a conversation today. Okay, a state change. So thanks a lot.
I really, I never thought that, the question that I'm dropping in will bring so much of tornado kind of thing in the conversation.
So Rucha, just consider, had you not brought it, somebody else would have.
Yeah.
It was bound to be in this space.
And I'm
but this was hurting me. It was actually, my the 20 years of experience and my survey with women-led organizations where they just only do economic empowerment activities. They have the survey says it has just added physical work burden on a women. They are the same as they were. Only thing is that उनके husband ने कमाना छोड़ दिया है. अब कमा भी वो रही है और घर का बोझा भी वही ढो रही है. वो ये सर्वे है. मतलब right now I don't have it with me, but you can Google it. You can get it.
See, I come from a family where my mother, they were 8 siblings. 5 of them were daughters. Okay. So we come from a family where we lived in fear of some kind. We've been calling it as respect for women. But जब आपके परिवार में लड़कियां हैं, how do you deal with that? You cannot afford to disrespect women there. Right? It's like कांच के घर में रहने वाला दूसरे पर पत्थर नहीं फेंक सकता. And most of the people, they come from families which have women. If we start or if we operate from there, things are quite different. And having said that, there is thousands of years of history. Where we are standing today, this did not happen yesterday. It did not happen 1 minute ago. And turning it around will also take some time. there is a certain momentum which is there. It's much easier said than done. And it starts with a single step, right? And that single step has already been taken. All of us are here because we have taken multiple steps in this direction. Okay, all the people who were there on this call today, this is not the nucleus of the world. Such initiatives are already there across the globe. And this was an awesome idea, bringing these thoughts together, right? That is what Women Roundtable is all about. All right. So thanks for your time, and I'm personally indebted to each one of you for being here. All right. We'll complete this conversation for the day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Atul. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Atul ji.